I have been a medical student for a long time, and inevitably I have made many study mistakes. Continue watching to find out what these are and how you can avoid them. Hello everyone, my name is Hazal and I run this channel with my best friend Lizzie, where we use it to document our lives to becoming doctors whilst sharing some student tips along the way. In today's video, I'm going to take you guys through every single silly study mistake I have made as a medical student. Let's get started with my first mistake. During my preclinical years of medical school, I managed to get by making lecture notes. I thought this would work in my clinical years of medical school too, but I was wrong. Preclinical years of medical school are more about learning the scientific knowledge behind the human body. However, clinical years of medical school are more about working in a hospital and applying your scientific knowledge to real patient examples. In your clinical years, you also need to know about how to treat and manage clinical conditions, as well as performing clinical skills such as taking bloods. As you can probably see, sitting down and making detailed lecture notes isn't going to be as beneficial as learning from guidelines and doing practice clinical questions to improve your knowledge on how to treat and manage conditions. So I feel like I've wasted a lot of my time sitting down and regurgitating my lectures into notes that I honestly haven't looked back at since. But by learning from my hospital placement, learning from my questions, and learning from guidelines, I've been able to collate a list of information that I think is really useful for me to know. So I gathered all of this key information and then I sorted them out into their modules and was able to make fact sheets on all of the modules that contains information that I think is key to learn or that I need help to remember. These fact sheets have come in a lot more useful than my lecture notes, as they are very concise and very easy to refer to just before my exams. If you know anything about me, you know that I hate essays. In fact, I have cried over every single one of the 15 or so essays I have had to write at medical school. But I could have suffered less, and I'm going to tell you guys how. Let me tell you guys about Genie, who have kindly sponsored today's video. We all know how time-consuming it is to sit down and go through every single paper or journal that you need to read to write your essay. Well, Genie uses AI technology to turn any PDF article or web page into a series of bullet points that are much easier to understand. And this is super useful because you can now save time on research, on reading, and can be more productive and get your essay done that bit more quickly. I have been using Genie to write my dissertation, and honestly, I haven't cried yet, so it's definitely a good sign. If you guys want to check out Genie, make sure to do so using the link in the description box down below to get your 14-day free trial. There are so many resources out there, especially for clinical years of medical school, that I could have used a lot more efficiently and effectively to make my life easier. Firstly, as you all know, there are lots of question banks out there for clinical years of medical school, including PassMed, PassTest, and even QuesMed. So please tell me why, at the start of my clinical years of medical school, I sat down to make my own flashcards. There are lots of questions already out there ready for me to use with detailed explanations, but I decided to make my own questions because I didn't do my research and I didn't use my resources effectively. So don't be like me, guys. For the most part, you don't need to make your own flashcards for clinical years of medical school because there are so many resources out there that have already done it for you, so you can save so much time and get revising as soon as possible. Also, make sure you use these resources properly. This one is actually embarrassing. I feel like we all tend to prioritize our written exams at medical school more than our practical exam, which is the OSCE. Obviously, I practiced for my OSCE during hospital placement where I could, but I never really devoted time outside of placement and outside of medical school to practice the OSCE on a regular basis. And the only time I practiced for my OSCE with my friends was genuinely like 1 week before the exam, and that put me in a very bad position. I was super stressed and I thought I was literally going to fail my OSCE. Somehow I managed to pull it out the bag and pass my OSCE, but guys, it was super stressful and I definitely do not recommend it. So do not make the same mistake of forgetting or ignoring the OSCE. It is just as important as your other exams, so you do need to put a good amount of prep into it. This year I'm going to be a lot more intentional with my OSCE, and I'll be doing weekly practice every single week with my friends from January onwards to make sure that I am in the best position possible to actually do well in my OSCE. This way I can build on my skills throughout the year rather than panicking the week before the exam. There are lots lots of times I could have asked for help at medical school when I didn't. Firstly, I wish I asked for more help from the actual medical school, whether that be for resources or for help with my revision. For the most part, the medical school is there to help you, but they can't help you if they don't know what you need help with. So for example, if you would really benefit from a revision session or you want some resources to help with a specific topic, there's no harm in asking because they may have stuff that can really help out. I also made the mistake of not asking my friends what their own revision methods were. It is literally so useful to learn from those around you because you can get more information on what works for others and potentially adapt your own study methods to see what works best for you. Even if you can't ask students in the years above, you can still ask students in your year because there's always someone else that you can learn from. Plus, you can also revise with your friends, bounce information off of each other, bounce questions off of each other, which is a great way of learning and an alternative to doing questions on a laptop. Those are all the study mistakes I have made at medical school so far, and fingers crossed I won't make any more. Of course, these are all based on my own experiences, and some of the mistakes I have mentioned might actually work for you. So remember that different things work for different people. If you have enjoyed this video, check out this video where I tell you guys the resources I use to study effectively at medical school. I really hope you guys found this video useful, and if you did, make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in a new video next time. Bye!